Someone asks you how much you make. Your stomach tightens before your mouth even opens. You laugh a little. You change the subject. You say, sakto lang, and move on. It feels automatic, like a reflex you never learned but somehow already know. But the real answer is far stranger. You didn't learn this from a lesson. You inherited it from a survival system thousands of years older than the peso itself. Think about the last time money came up at a family gathering. Someone mentions a new car. Someone else asks carefully how they afforded it. Nobody answers directly. There's a joke, a shrug, a blessed lang talaga. The room moves on, and everyone accepts the non-answer as if it were an answer. You've done this 100 times without noticing. Why does an entire culture agree, without ever discussing it, to talk around the one subject that shapes almost every decision in daily life? It isn't just families. Watch a group of coworkers after a bonus announcement. Everyone knows the amounts differ. Nobody says the number out loud. Watch two old friends catching up after years apart. Careers get discussed in vague shapes. Medyo okay naman. Sakto lang pero blessed. The specifics stay hidden, even between people who share almost everything else. Somehow, the same silence shows up everywhere you look, in every generation, in every income bracket, as if everyone received the same unwritten instruction manual at birth. To understand this, you have to go back further than pesos, further than trade routes, further than the barter systems your grandparents' used. You have to go back to the size of the group you survived in. For most of human history, you didn't survive alone. You survived inside a small circle of people who saw everything you did. There was no anonymity, no stranger economy, just the same faces, watching the same resources, for an entire lifetime. In a group, that small, visible wealth wasn't neutral information. It was a threat to the bond holding everyone together. If you had more and everyone knew it, you owed something. If you had less and everyone knew it, you were owed something. Either way, the moment money became visible, the relationship stopped being equal. And in a small, tightly interdependent group, equality wasn't a nice idea. It was survival infrastructure. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies have documented this pattern again and again, across continents that never had contact with each other. Groups that depended on shared resources developed strong, almost reflexive taboos against openly displaying surplus. A hunter who brought back more meat than anyone else didn't boast about it. He distributed it quietly, without ceremony, sometimes even downplaying his own skill in front of the group. The behavior looked like humility. Functionally, it was insurance. A visible imbalance today could become a fractured alliance tomorrow. And in a world without supermarkets or savings accounts, a fractured alliance could mean starvation during the next lean season. This is where the Filipino psychologist Virgilio Enriquez comes in. Enriquez spent years building what he called Psikolohiyang Pilipino, an entire framework for understanding Filipino behavior from the inside instead of importing Western psychology and forcing it to fit. At the center of his work is a concept called Kapwa, the idea that your sense of self isn't separate from others. It's shared with them. Your identity is relational before it's individual. Now hold that idea next to money. If your sense of self is bound up with the people around you, then money isn't just yours. It touches everyone in the circle. Talking about it plainly doesn't just reveal a number. It reveals a hierarchy inside a relationship that was supposed to be equal. Suddenly, the silence makes sense. It isn't avoidance, it's protection. Enriquez also mapped out something he called the levels of interaction within Kapwa, ranging from surface-level courtesy all the way to full, unguarded trust. Money, he noticed, moves through these levels unevenly. You might discuss it in vague terms with a stranger, but the closer someone gets to your inner circle, the more the topic tightens, not loosens. That feels backwards at first. Shouldn't the people closest to you be the ones you're most honest with about money? But closeness is exactly what makes it dangerous. A stranger's opinion of your finances doesn't threaten your identity. A parent's, a sibling's, a best friend's absolutely can. But there's a second layer underneath this, and it's not unique to the Philippines, though the Philippines expresses it with unusual intensity. The anthropologist Edward T. Hall spent decades studying how different cultures communicate, And he split the world into two rough categories. Low context cultures say what they mean directly. High context cultures say almost everything indirectly, relying on tone, timing, relationship, and unspoken.